And we are live. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to She Built It, Boss Lady Chronicles. I am Dr. Sharita Gaskin-Stillette. I am your host, and this is the show where we feature the amazing stories of everyday women who are owning their power to transform their lives. And I am super excited about tonight's guest. But before I introduce her, I just want to allow a few minutes for others to come on. If you're watching us live, please say hi in the comments, put your questions in the comments. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, still put your questions in the comments because I am happy to get them over to our guest. And then just a reminder, registration is still open. It's closing soon, but it's still open for a weekend for me, the Premier Wellness Experience for Professional Women taking place in Grand Cayman, October 31st to November 3rd. So if you are a woman who is finding yourself at a crossroads, you know that there's more out there for you, but you don't know what that more is. And it could be more in your career, more in your relationship, more in your health, whatever it is. Come to a weekend from me and let us help you clarify what that more is and develop a plan, a strategic plan to get you from where you are to where you desire to be. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce tonight's guest. If I can find her bio, let me get to the right screen. There we are. All right. So I have joining me tonight Dr. Funke Afolabi-Brown. She is a board certified sleep physician and the founder of Restful Sleep MD. She helps women and their children prioritize sleep, achieve optimal health, thrive, and live to their fullest potential. As a busy physician and mom of two, she understands the impact of sleep deprivation on our mental, physical, and emotional health. She has made it her mission to help others make sleep a priority. She also works with organizations and businesses to improve their health by incorporating healthy sleep into their wellness journey. She is a consultant and a speaker on regional, national, and international platforms. She has also published several peer reviewed manuscripts on a variety of sleep disorders. She obtained her sleep medicine training at the University of Pennsylvania. Welcome, Dr. Funke.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharita. It's just always such a great time chatting with you.
Yes, you are no stranger to my lives. Now, actually, I think the last time you were on, I think it was still Level Up Live. And so
Yes,
now we transitioned to She Built It, but you are still an appropriate guest,
yeah.
still, a boss lady building her dreams. So, and
Oh,
so much has happened. And what I love about having you back is that we get to see your evolution because
mm,
when you first started coming on to my lives, you were an employed physician and that has changed. So tell us about the change, I guess. Well, you know what? There might be some people. Let's back up. I'm going too far. There might be some people who are watching who don't know you. So let's back up. Let's talk a little bit about your story. How does one become a sleep physician? Like what made you interested in sleep of all things?
I know. Putting people to sleep, I know, right? So I started off, like most of us, from a place of exhaustion and burnout and sleep deprivation. So I think my mission really came from my own experience and journey and of walking through navigating that, dealing with kids who had sleep issues themselves and just really burning the candle on both ends until I hit a wall. And so from there, I really started to get interested. And even though in my clinical practice, I was making, sleep recommendations, I didn't really understand a lot of the science behind it because it turns out, I'm sure you know, like through our training experience as doctors, maybe you get a total of 2 hours total of any type of sleep education. So this is not something that's really a rigorous part of our curriculum. So I really wanted to devote myself to understanding it well, which was why I then sought out a fellowship at Penn. And then fast forward, I was employed, right? So I stayed back as faculty, doing all the things, writing all the papers. And then I got I just had the sense it was time to move on and start my own thing. I mean, I'd already been speaking, I'd already been doing some consultations, but really to be able to build a practice around sleep medicine that was very holistic, really involved multiple parts, and I could actually be my own boss. Really, that prompted me to start my company, and to also start my practice. So since the last time I was on, where most of what I did was around speaking and coaching, I have, gone ahead and started my own practice, the Restful Sleep Place. So really focused on sleep services for children as well as adults, but there's a lot of focus because of my expertise in children. And continue to do the coaching piece because that is just so important, and continue to work with organizations to do consultation. And hopefully we'll talk about, now I'm going to be, a published author. So I wrote my own book. So I'm just really excited about the growth.
So see, like I said, it is just so wonderful to watch your evolution and see so many changes. I absolutely love it. And and it actually brings about a good point because, I always try to explain to people that we are actually meant to continue to evolve. Like we
Mm,
are not supposed to stay the same. And so
mm,
that's what I love so much about you and about this community that we're a part of. I get to see everybody evolving. And that's
mm.
just absolutely wonderful, 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 wonderful. So now you told us about the restful sleep place, but you didn't tell us where it is. So,
Yeah.
what if we want to come to the restful sleep place? Where is this place?
Yes, this Restful Sleep Place is really, it's a sanctuary, clinic turned sanctuary, where I really offer very, very intensive and comprehensive sleep services to children and as well as their parents and adults. I'm currently licensed in a few states now, in Pennsylvania, in California, New Jersey, as well as Tennessee. So if you're in those areas, you could either hop on a plane, come see me, or you could stay right there and I meet you virtually. So I offer both in person as well as virtual visits, really, because again, many times when you think about sleep, it's something that happens at night. So being able to really be a part of the patient's home and see what their bedroom looks like and their sleep environment, it also gives another layer of care that I provide. But my coaching is still very much available. So if there are moms out there who are trying to figure this sleep thing out, they're tired of being tired, I can still see them through my coaching practice, which is across all the states in the US.
Okay. So now you mentioned that your practice is holistic. So I'm wanting to know what that means and what sets you apart from the rest.
That is beautiful. Yes, I know we end up hearing that word holistic thrown around many times. And so I think one of the things that I think of when I was building this practice was I wanted, and I've created a space where we're not just fixing problems without addressing the root cause. Because what really made me move forward to start this was because a lot of times your child doesn't sleep. Here's a pill, here's Benadryl, here is melatonin, your child is snoring, here is, a humidifier or whatever, right?
Mhm.
We don't necessarily have the time. And that takes time to figure out, sleep is a symptom of something, or poor sleep is something is going on. So it may be either your child is sick, maybe they do have a cold, maybe they do have reflux, maybe they do have asthma that's getting in their way of sleep, maybe they do have sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome. So we're figuring out where is the sleep problem coming from. Maybe they do have anxiety or depression, mental health issues, which end up showing up as a sleep problem. Maybe their diet, their nutrition is completely off, and they're deficient in vitamin D, magnesium, or things like that, or iron level, or iron, which can also manifest as sleep disorder. So we're really delving down to say, where is this coming from? What is the issue at hand? So that we're addressing those issues and then kind of building up from there. And then the other piece that I would say that sets our practice apart is we're not just looking at that from just like you as a siloed individual with sleep issues, but we're looking like who else is involved in this care process. So
Yes.
I do a lot of work with therapists. I do a lot of work with psychiatrists. Of course, I work with the ear, nose, and throat doctors. I work a lot with dentists. So we're really looking at, for my older patients, for women in the menopause, perimenopause period, sometimes I'm working with their OBGYN or their gynecologist, so things like that. So we're really looking at this again from a very global look at the actual sleep issue.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I imagine that this is so much easier for you in your own practice because I'm sure as an employed physician, you didn't have time to
Yeah.
delve into these issues. And so I think it's really wonderful that you're available as a resource for your patients.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to kind of, when I have women on here, I'd like to delve a little bit into you as a person and you and your mindset
Mm,
because there are many women who have dreams and desires and goals for their lives,
mm.
but so few actually follow those dreams. And so, what has been your inspiration for following this dream of yours?
I would say it's been a couple of things. It's really, I painted a picture, and we've done this, and we're, in a similar coaching group. So, where we kind of look ahead and see ourselves in, our 90th birthday. And I think I've played that a lot in my mind to go forward and say, who do I want to be? What do I want to have? Who do I want to be attending that party? What do I want them to say about me? How do I want to feel in terms of my body? What kind of impact, what kind of legacy do I want to have left to have created, right? What do I want my kids to say about me? And then see that big, incredible dream and then kind of work my way back. And so I keep that ahead of me. And then I also do that. So 90, sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, 90 is so far away. I also keep that like 6 month to 12-month view of where do I want to be in 6 months? Like if I want to be in a certain situation, maybe earn a certain income, maybe be in a certain circle, maybe, create a certain type of impact, then I have to ask myself and say, is this version of me right now that's maybe not doing much, even though I'm dreaming of this incredible dream, will I get there or will I still have to project forward again to say, I didn't achieve it? So it's almost like reverse engineering it, but I
Yes.
have to see it in my mind's eye. And sometimes it's not crystal clear, but I kind of have a sense. So that keeps me going, because example, when I was employed, I kept saying, well, I'm seeing all these families coming and the moms are exhausted, they're drained and they're burnt out. And all I could see was I have a voice that needs to leave the four walls of the exam room. So that pushed me to say, okay, what action do I need to take to step outside of the four walls of that exam room? And then from there, just kind of building on from it.
So how do you maintain your momentum? Because, again, people, have a dream, they might set a goal, they might start off doing some things, but you and I both know that Rome was not built in a day. Your dream does not become your reality overnight. So how do you remain inspired and motivated and keep in momentum?
So one of the things I say, motivation is not always needed. It's nice, but it's not always needed. There are times when I absolutely have zero motivation, but I still get up. And so, and I think that when I read, I don't know, I think I just have to come to that realization that there will be times when I don't feel like, there will be times when I put in the work and I don't feel like I'm seeing the results I want, but that's not the time to quit because I am still taking action. And, while it might sound cliche to say put one foot in front of the other, like literally put one foot in front of the other, and you will find out, you will look back and see, oh my goodness, I've covered some ground. You
Yes.
might have to. And there are times when I feel on top of the world and I'm running and flying and soaring. And then sometimes when I'm just crawling, literally, but just really saying, let me do one thing to move this agenda forward. And another thing that keeps me in momentum is keeping again that vision ahead in front of me, right? I'm making that vision plain so I can run with it. So I have my vision board, I have my goals. So I'm looking at them constantly. And I noticed that when I start to feel, I guess, less motivated, less inspired, many times it's because I forgot to look at my vision board. But when I look again, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, let's get up, let's go, let's go. So I would say those two things.
Yeah, so it's important to remember why you're doing what you're doing. And you're right, and then what I find for me is I make things automatic. So, I talk about this like with the gym, I have a personal trainer. So there are many, many days I would not go to that gym if I did not have an appointment with the trainer. I know I wouldn't go because I just don't feel like it. So you're right. We have to put things in place to keep us doing things no matter how we feel in that
Mhm.
moment. So I
Yeah.
want to talk about your book. Tell us about the book.
So excited. So the title of the book, and this again started from where am I going with this? So again, I think it's hard to impact people. You can create impact one person at a time. But then after a while, you have to start thinking, how can I do this a little bit faster, create more impact? And I realized, while I do speaking, while I coach organizations, but to be able to do this at a higher level, I needed to put a book out there because that's something that people who are not in the states I'm licensed in may not be able to come see me, but they can get my book and they can get life transforming strategies from that book. So the title of the book is Beyond Tired, a
Mm.
sleep physician's guide to solving your kids' sleep problems for good. And I would say it came from a place where I realized a lot of women are not just tired, they're beyond tired because
Yes, I really think that title is going to resonate with a lot of people. If you're watching us, if you're beyond tired, let us know in the comments because I can't. I'm sure we're not the only two.
I know. So yeah, so that's where that came from, and really it's a relatively comprehensive guide. A lot of information out there on the internet about sleeping kids. Most of it is not evidence based. Most of it is conflicting. So I literally break things down in a way that's very relatable, and I just really wanted to share with moms. So it's not like a book where you have to read from cover to cover. If you have a specific issue that your child is going through, you could just grab that
Mhm.
specific section, read it, have your breakthrough, and keep moving. And I also have a chapter that's completely for moms. It's
Mm.
really dedicated to mom sleep as well. So I'm just really looking forward to sharing it with the world.
Well, I'm excited. I can't wait. Make sure you let us know when the launch party is because we want to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming out October 8th. So that day we'll have a lunch party just to celebrate the release of the book and answer questions and have some giveaways and things like that.
Perfect. 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 So, you're treating the whole family oftentimes, it sounds like. Tell us about the outcomes. Tell us some of the improvements that you see in the lives of the mothers and the children.
So many. I mean, it's really humbling. Even today, the wins keep coming in. I had a family that's been struggling for years, right, with sleep issues, and mom had said like she had not gotten one night of straight sleep in years because of her child waking up frequently, to now come back and say, for the very first time in my life, like I literally slept through the night. So not just for the child, but for the parent as well. Parents who, parent moms who said, they've been nursing nonstop. Imagine as soon as it's better, that child is just attached and nursing all night long to say, I have my body back.
Yes.
And the thing about it is it's not just for the parent, right? It's more like my child now has consolidated sleep, which they need because they're tired during the day, they're cranky during the day. So we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing kids who maybe had a diagnosis of, they've been told they have ADHD, which maybe they are on multiple medications. All of a sudden, they don't need those meds anymore because we've been able to work on their sleep. And so we've been able to back down on their medicine. Or families who need medicine to fall asleep. And so now with working on, the sleep issues, able to win them off sleep medications as well. So I think and then school performance, daytime behavior, family relationships getting better. So these are just like a few of the kind of examples of the wins that many of my patients experience. And one of the things I'd say is it's not an overnight thing. It takes intentionality, it takes work. I mean, many people want a response that's super quick, but you really, that consistent work and patience, we're able to get them the results that they really deserve and they need.
Wow. So this is life changing, really, because we as physicians know the impact of lack of sleep on
Hmm.
all of the different organ systems, and so you're saving lives for sure. You're extending this mom's life, and you're improving the quality of lives of the children.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's really impressive. Um, so you mentioned wins. I'm gonna go kind of weave back and forth between your mindset and your work. So how do you celebrate? Because I know that that's one of the problems that we have as women. We often remember the things that didn't go so well, the things that didn't work. But it sounds like you're doing a pretty decent job of keeping track of your wins. So, tell us how you do that, and then how do you celebrate those wins?
Oh, that's such a beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up. So different things that I do because you're right. As a high achiever, right? I want to do everything well. Sometimes I get hard on myself, and I'm only focusing on the things that are not working or the things I didn't get done. So one of the habits I've learned to do is, in the morning I tend to look at my goals. In the evening, I try to write down some wins. And so it's a
Mhm.
moment of gratitude that I've woven into my bedtime routine. And so I would say maybe I'll just write three things that went well that day. And it could be something small, it could be something grand. I got a new, contract, or I was able to join my kids' game or whatever it is. I just put that down. And then usually at the end of the month, I kind of put together a compilation of these. And then I compare them to, the things that I set as goals. And of course, many times my goals are oftentimes a little bit beyond my reach. Sometimes I'm able to accomplish them, I'm able to hit them. Sometimes I'm not. But for the ones where, I'm able to hit, I celebrate that. And so I do that differently. Sometimes it's a little bit of shopping,
Retail therapy.
a little retail therapy. Sometimes it's going out to dinner, with the family or just my husband. Sometimes it's going for to get a massage, and sometimes it's just me just having an evening to myself where everybody just leave me be, and I'm just alone, just really kind of recouping and just nourishing my soul. And so I just do different things.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I like that. Nourishing your soul because September in the Boss Lady Dream Builder community, September is self-care month. So
Mm,
you bring up a really good point that, one of the ways that we can celebrate is by taking care of ourselves because when we pour into ourselves, that gives us more to be able to pour into others at a later time.
absolutely.
So what's next? What's the next iteration of Dr. Funke?
Well, I want to get through this book launch. I mean, my goal is to get this out into as many hands as possible. I really think people need this. I think doctors need it. I think parents need it. So my mission, the next short term, next in that sense, is to just get this out to into as many hands as possible. And then after that, I don't know. We'll see. I have a few things up my sleeve, but we'll see. One of my goals, it's funny, and I'm sharing this publicly, so y'all are gonna hold me accountable. And it was funny. I was just spending some time reflecting on this because I put a lot of my heart into this work. And I just heard from the blue, I heard Spanish, and that scared the crap out of me. Sorry.
Wow.
So I don't even know where that is going, but it's
Okay.
possible, really.
Well,
Um,
but you know what? But I think that actually makes sense, because you're on a mission to help people. Not everybody you're going to help speaks English.
yeah, no, exactly.
Not everybody you're going to help is here in the United States. So I don't think
Yeah.
that's such a reach. And now I
Mhm.
didn't they didn't say that you had to speak the Spanish, right? Maybe
Yeah, I
it's
know, right?
maybe
Maybe
the
that's
book
why
gets
I'm just like,
translated. Maybe the book gets translated into French and Spanish and
I know.
all of these other languages. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because the sky's the limit, right?
Yes, the sky is the limit. Yes. And also, in terms of my practice, really building that up, growing it. Right now, a lot of the work I do is virtual, but starting to set up, state of the art sleep centers in different parts of the country. That's also another mission of mine. So there's enough, I think, to keep me busy. I don't think I'm going to be bored anytime soon. Let's just put it that way.
Sounds like. So now for right now, are you working alone or do you have I mean, I'm sure there's support staff, but do you have other physicians working with you as well?
No, not yet. Not yet. But that's definitely going to have to be, that's going to be in the works soon.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So what else do you want us to know about you and what's coming up?
Yeah, I would say just mark your calendars for October 8th. It's going to be a big deal. This is really going to revolutionize how we see sleep. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you have, questions, you want to reach out. I'm part of this community and just really amazed and inspired by the work you do. So folks have questions, have any concerns, sleep issues they want to kind of talk about, I'll be more than happy to provide my support.
So what is an ideal, you mentioned evening routine. Is
Mm.
there an ideal evening routine for a child? I mean, I know, we talk about like adults not being on the devices and, the temperature of the room and the lights and those kinds of things, but what about for children?
Yeah, I mean, for children, that's even it's a much bigger deal, having a routine because it cues their body for bed. So usually I break it down into three, and we talk a lot about this in the book. I talk about um, hygiene. We talk about the cognitive aspect or their learning and development as part of their routine. And we talk about human connection. So hygiene, right? So that is where you take a bath, you brush their teeth, you change their diaper or get them into PJs. So that's a part that's really important. Oh, sorry. Even before that, we talk about nutrition. You never want to let your child go to bed hungry. They're gonna wake up and you're gonna wonder why they're waking up all the time. So make sure that maybe you do a little snack before bed and then you start the hygiene. So nutrition, hygiene is the piece where we do all that. And then the cognitive part of the learning is really either reading to them, singing to them, talking to them. Again, they're learning. They learn through speaking, they learn through reading. They can either read to you or you read to them, whatever that is. And then that connection piece is really spending some time just loving on them. So a cuddle, a kiss, a hug. So when you build your routine, so I don't always say you must do X, Y, Z, but try to capture elements of those four. And also the same for you as a mom, as a parent, really capture those four: nutrition. So don't go to bed hungry, right? You want to make sure the hygiene piece, right? If you've been out all day, get the sweat off, take a shower or whatever, or clean, or just change into your PJs. Learning or something to nourish your mind. So either listen to a podcast or read a book or whatever, and then that connection piece. So speak with someone you love and things like that.
Yeah, I like that. And then reminded me of when my daughter was younger. We don't do this as much now. We do have a little bit of a bedtime routine, but she's 12. So, there's not as much of the reading and things like that. But, we do still sometimes talk about I would say to her, what are three good things that happened to you today? Just
Beautiful.
so that, gives her an opportunity to, one, I'm trying to, make her remember the good because as we
Mhm,
talked about, we often forget that. So just to make note of the fact that there are good things that happen during the day, but
mm,
also to build that connection so
mm,
that, I know the things that are going on with her and, she feels comfortable talking to me,
mm,
and then we pray and things like that. So
mm. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
yeah. So we're about out of time. So tell us where we can find you if we want to work with you in detail. And it's all going to be in the comments section. So you'll find it there. You don't have to write it down. But tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, so my website is a great place to start. So that's www.restfulsleepmd.com. That will lead you to my practice website as well. So they're one and the same. So if you go to restfulsleepmd.com, you'll be good. Right there, you'll find information about my clinic. You'll find information about my coaching. You'll find information about the book. And also, there's a blog that is pretty active where we have so much information out there, just really resources to help you move to the next level when it comes to your sleep. And then I'm on social media at Restful Sleep MD. So that's Restful Sleep MD. I'm on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and on LinkedIn. I think it's my name, Funke Afolabi-Brown.
So many of my viewers are midlife ladies. So if there's a single best thing that we can do to improve our sleep, what would you recommend?
I would say consistency. I think that's such a strong piece of our circadian rhythm, our internal clock. And our circadian rhythm is what really helps to regulate so many things: hormones, our mood, other physiologic functions in our body. So, if you can work on making that consistent, meaning that you have a consistent sleep time, wake up time, you're not just going up all over the place in terms of your sleep, that would be a good place to start. And then you can start to work your way back to create boundaries to make sure you're consistent, to create a routine that you're consistent with. So I think that would be my number one tip.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We heard it, guys. Consistency. So that means go to bed at about the same time, have your nighttime routine. And I love that you said boundaries because, we're often tempted to actually betray our own intentions, right? So there's a show you might want to watch on TV, or, you might want to stay up later for whatever. But, being disciplined, it sounds
Mhm.
like. But yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it so much. Again, I have loved watching your evolution, and I can't wait to see the next version of you. And I'm super excited about the book Beyond Tired being released on October 8th. So you guys just be on the lookout for that, because we're going to help Dr. Funke become an Amazon bestseller on October 8th. Put it on your calendar. We're going to buy the book. Okay.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. It's just always such a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Have a great night. Remember, if you have questions, don't forget, put them in the chat. I'm happy to give them to Dr. Funke later on, and she'll get them back to you. And then again, just a reminder, registration is open for A Weekend for Me, www.aweekendforme.com. I would love to host you in Grand Cayman. It is going to be incredible. See you next week.